guys, my name is Kate. I'm a gardener in Zone 8A, and I want to talk today about Loofah. Loofah is the sponge that you clean your dishes with, clean your house with, whatever you want to clean with. But a lot of people think that it's grown from the ocean, and I definitely thought that too before I knew that you could grow it around here. And once I knew that you could grow loofah from the ground and grow your actual sponges, I was just hooked. So I want to get into some of the mistakes that I've made over the years, and hopefully you learn something and you don't make those mistakes too. I think that they're very common mistakes, but I think that if I had seen these mistakes earlier, seen someone else make them, or was more knowledgeable, I could have possibly avoided making those mistakes too, and it wouldn't have taken me up to year 3 to be able to actually harvest loofah and have loofah to use. So it would be nice if maybe in year 1 in your loofah journey, you actually have some to harvest, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. So I am just sitting here on a Sunday, no makeup. I don't wear makeup on the weekends and try to give my face a break. And let's just chat about it. Let's pretend we have our coffees and let's chat about loofah. So I gotta have my computer in front of me. I've got some notes that I wrote down, and so let's just get into it. And stay tuned. I will also put in the video at the very end what my loofah looks like now. You kind of saw a sneak peek in a minute, but I'll show you some pictures of the further years as I started to learn more about loofah and had a better setup and how beautiful loofah can be with its flowers. I'm going to put pictures throughout, so you're not just hearing it from me, but you're also seeing it in real time through the photos. Also, stay tuned and subscribe for more videos, because of course this year I'm growing loofah. I'm going to take you through it in real time with those videos, whereas in the past I don't have videos to really show what I'm talking about now with those mistakes. I just have the photos. So this way this year you can see everything from start to finish on the channel in the videos. Okay, mistake number 1. So mistake number 1 was definitely planting too early. So with loofah, you do have a long growing season, but you do want to try to start the seeds as early as possible to get ahead of planting in your garden bed or the ground. So if you can try to sow the seeds indoors around end of March, early April, that way by the time that you have your last frost, you can just go ahead and get those transplants into the ground. You're going to have a longer growing season. That's how you extend the growing season. So for me, my first year, I had a greenhouse, and it wasn't heated. It was just your greenhouse. And I tried to start some seedlings outdoors, but I was very new. I had never really started seeds before, and they did really well. They actually popped up, they sprouted, they grew. But then we had our last frost, and just with me being new, I didn't realize that frost was going to kill everything that I had grown. And after that, I didn't plant it again because I kind of got discouraged, and I was like, it died. I'm just not going to worry about it. And I never did that again. So you just want to make sure that you can grow it inside, grow it in a warm place inside that's not going to be affected by the frost, because loofah can be transplanted fairly easily. And once it's in your garden bed or the ground, you can grow it pretty well. But if you do plant it too early and you haven't cleared time between that latest frost, then everything that you just put into the ground with those transplants are going to die. So that's definitely mistake number 1, is planting them too early, that you miss that frost window and your soil isn't warm enough anyways, and you're still getting cold fronts at night, and that's going to kill everything that you planted. So that's a big deal. You don't want to kill what you just grew. That's terrible. It's always terrible in the garden world. And then mistake number 2, I'm going to put some photos as I talk about it over here, but mistake number 2 is having a weak trellis. So the first, probably second and third year, actually, I only have a picture from the second year that I grew trellis. I only have a picture from the second year that I grew loofah, but loofah definitely gets really heavy. I mean, it's going to grow a lot. It vines out. You're going to have loofah hanging from it. It gets very heavy. I did not have a sturdy enough trellis. So when by year 2, I was finally, I didn't even start my seeds indoors. I actually just transplanted the seeds into the garden bed as soon as the last frost was over. And I finally was able to see the fruits of my labor. It was growing up the trellis, everything looked great. And honestly, it got too heavy. The first like large storm or large wind that we had, it knocked the trellis over. And it broke it. And I ended up having to, and I'll put the pictures here as well, I ended up having to hold it with a ladder that was in the building, because I was like, I'm not gonna lose the progress that I've made. It's got a trellis up somewhere. And so I kind of held it up by a ladder. And then the third year that I grew loofah, kind of the same way, the trellis just wasn't sturdy enough. And so by the end of the loofah growing season, I was able to reinforce it better. But don't learn from me, don't make the mistake twice. Just make sure that you anchor it and you have a strong trellis like right off the bat. Don't wait until the loofah gets large and strong and your trellis is knocking over. That would definitely be a big mistake that happened to me, and I will not make that mistake again. In fact, my loofah is not even trellising up yet, and I already have my trellis reinforced because I will not make that mistake again. And then the last mistake is definitely the biggest one, honestly, because you spend all this time in the season growing your loofah. You want to make sure that you actually can sow the fruits of your labor. Like, you want to make sure you actually can harvest loofah. And so the third mistake was basically harvesting my loofah too late. What happens if you let the loofah stay on the vine too long is that it just gets harder and harder. There's only a certain window of time that you can harvest that loofah where the skin is softer, and so you basically can take that skin right off, and you've got your loofah, and you go through the process after that of drying it before you use it, cleaning it, whatever you do after. But if you let it stay on the vine too long, that outer shell is going to get really, really hard and tough, and you're not going to be able to get that skin off as easy. And so there's a lot of things that you can do at that point to still possibly harvest your loofah, but at the same time, you're making more work for yourself. So why do that when you can harvest in that short window of time? The skin, you want to make sure there's actually some give to it. So you want to, it's kind of crunchy, like when you squeeze it, it's actually, you're going to be able to hear a little bit of moisture because there's moisture under that skin, but you're also going to hear a little bit of crunch. The skin's going to be crunchy, and that's exactly what you want. And it's normally not when the color of the loofah has changed all the way to like a dark green. It's going to be when it's kind of almost like a lime green, like a lighter green, maybe some yellow, but that's kind of your window of time that you want to harvest that loofah. And so I think just if you don't make those mistakes of those three things, make sure that you plant at the right time, make sure that you have a really sturdy trellis, and make sure that you harvest in that window of time that's great to harvest in. Don't let it stay on the vine too long. You're gonna have a great loofah season, honestly. And I'll show you with my loofah. So this is not necessarily like, where's the camera? It's not a pretty loofah, but it is one that I clean with. I've had this for a year and it's still good. When I scrub with it, it gets soft, and it's almost like a Brillo pad in a way, but it's still a really good loofah. And then this is the spine of the loofah, and I actually use it to clean bottles with. So, I think this year when I'm able to harvest more loofah, I'll actually sew it and I'll make it look pretty. I'll cut it and make it look like a pretty square. But for now, this is the loofah from one of the loofahs from last year. I do have some more, and then I was able to gift some to other people. That was really cool. But take it from me, if you don't make these three mistakes, you're going to be really well off in your loofah season. And also make sure you hit the subscribe button. I am a single mom, a working mom of two, or a single mom, and I work full-time, single mom of two, working full-time. I also garden full-time, and so if I can do it, you can do it. And just make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will continue gardening and being the best parents and working and just follow along. Thanks.